Ladies, you can simply protect yourself from jealous people by moving in silence. Protect yourself from your haters, confuse your haters by moving in silence. When it comes to moving in silence, people like to throw that phrase around, but they very rarely know how to do it. People often move in silence very loudly. That's the opposite of being silent. But when you are truly serious about protecting yourself from your haters, from jealous people, from envious people, from people who try to distract you with their foolishness, from people who don't want to see you be great, from people who don't want to see you accomplish things, when you truly want to protect yourself from them, you learn and master the art of moving in silence, or in other words, becoming a more private woman. So the way that you can protect yourself by truly moving in silence, protect yourself from your haters, from jealous people, is by number one, not allowing them to distract you. So when you move in silence, you do not give up too much information. You don't allow people to pull more out of you than what they give to you. See, people who are jealous and envious of you, oftentimes they want all the details on your life, but they do not want to give up any details about their life. You see a lot of one-sided relationships with jealous people. They want to know everything about you so that they can have something to hold over you, so that they can have something to gossip about, so that they can have something to bring to your remembrance, especially if it's something negative. When you master the art of becoming silent or moving in silence, you know how to pull more out of other people than what they pull out of you. Or at least you know how to speak in general terms. So I'll give you an example. If somebody asks you, how was lunch? What did you have for lunch today? Oh, lunch was great. I went to the mall. It was wonderful. I enjoyed myself. So you told them you went to the mall for lunch, but you didn't give them the details of what you actually had for lunch. I know that might sound silly, but that is a prime example of how you can give people information or give them exactly what they ask for without giving them exactly what they ask for. Now, not moving in silence, oversharing, is them saying to you, what did you have for lunch? And you could say, I went to such and such mall. I went to Willow Grove. I went to Chick-fil-A and I had a chicken sandwich with french fries and, sweet tea. You're giving them all the little details. I know that sounds very silly. However, people who are very nosy, people who are very jealous, people who want to know the deets about you, they want all of the details oftentimes so they can use it against you. And if you're a person who is kind of loose with your lips, you have, as they say, diarrhea of the mouth, you tend to give people more than what they need, thus putting them all in your business. Thus, you cannot move in silence. So learn how to speak in general terms so that people do not distract you with the very things that you give to them. Number one. The number two thing you can do to move in silence and not allow people to distract you with their nonsense is to get laser focused on the thing or the situation that is the object of your level up. So when you move in silence, you're not telling everybody your next move. You're not telling everybody that, I'm planning on starting a business. I'm planning on working out. I'm planning on doing this or that. You just do it. You let the work speak for itself. But people who do not know how to move in silence, they often have to make the announcement that they're moving in silence. They have to let people know, starting in January, I'm going to start doing this. Starting this time, I'm going to do this. And some people look at that as accountability, but I see it as a distraction. You know why? Because sometimes not only are you allowing other people to get involved and possibly distract you from what you want to focus on, you are also tricking your brain into believing that you're accomplishing a lot more than what you're accomplishing. If you talk about something long enough, you will actually believe that it's true, even if you're not doing the thing. You will talk, and I've heard women talk about, I like the idea, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But meanwhile, they're getting bigger and bigger and more sedentary, meaning they are not moving, they are not doing anything, they're simply talking. My father used to say, they just talk to hear themselves talk. They just talk to talk. And that is the opposite of what you want to do when you're moving in silence. You want to do less talking and more moving. When you do that, You leave jealous people, you leave your haters assuming whatever they want to assume about you. And the way I see it, it's better for people to assume things about you and it not be true than to know the truth and look like a clown. So when it comes to moving in silence, you do not want to constantly talk and announce whatever you're doing. You want the work to speak for itself. Number 2. The number 3 thing you want to do to actually move in silence is to retreat. So a lot of people, I know some people cannot handle being by themselves. There are a lot of people who feel like they always need somebody around. They need somebody to bounce ideas off of. They need somebody to validate what they already want to do. But a person who has mastered the art of moving in silence, we don't need anybody's outside validation. We accept it, we appreciate it, but when our mind is set on leveling up, bettering ourselves, or whatever it is that we're doing, we don't need a lot of people to come over to prop us up, to remind us to do what we need to do, or to do what we want to do, or to remind us of how important that thing is. There's nothing wrong with accountability, but when you need so much accountability from somebody else, you are allowing somebody to dictate your moves and dictate your life. In a way, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but if you have to constantly turn to somebody to get their approval on something that you want to do for your life, you are giving that person the control. And God forbid if that person is a jealous, envious hater, somebody that you think you can trust but you cannot, your whole decision making is going to be in their hands. In other words, you're going to be putting your life, your decisions, the things you want to do in their hands simply because you don't know how to make a sound decision as a grown woman. That is something you have to learn when it comes to just being a grown woman and when it comes to moving in silence. You don't want to put all of the decision making, all of the, choices that you need to make for your own life in somebody else's hands. So when it comes to moving in silence, you want to learn how to retreat, to be able to handle things on your own in a way, to at least be able to make the decision that is best for your own life and work on that thing. You see, some people, and this is another reason, the main reason why you want to retreat, because sometimes as women, most women are feminine in nature. We're just kind of free flowy. And we just, we get very excited about things and we just start talking and we start inviting people into the situation and say, hey girl, I think you would be a good fit to do this for me. You haven't even put pen to paper yet on what you want to do for your business or for your book or whatever it might be. And you're already inviting people in. And what you don't understand during those times of, the process, the beginning steps of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, that is not the time to invite different people into whatever it is you're doing. Because I guarantee you, amongst the 2, 3, 4 people you invite in, at least 1 or 2 of them are going to be a jealous hater. At least 1 or 2 of them are going to be people that are going to bring dead, dull energy into the situation. And when you're excited about doing something for your life, even if it's something minor, you cannot afford to have a jealous hater or somebody with dry energy around you. You cannot afford to have somebody around you who's going to spend all of that time, instead of motivating you and encouraging you, they'll spend a lot of their time telling you why whatever it is you're trying to do might not be a good idea. You see, when you retreat and just get to yourself, the way I see it, get with God and get direction, get guidance, you give yourself the opportunity to get guidance, to have a clear mind, a clear head on what you want to do without all of the added opinions of other people. You shield yourself from the opinions of other people when you move in silence, especially when you know for certain what you want to do for your life, when you know for certain how you want to move, the kind of lifestyle you want to live. You don't go consulting a lot of different people. You retreat, get with yourself, get with God, and then make a move. So the number 4 thing you need to do is retreat. Focus on yourself. It's okay to be by yourself for a time. Most women, most people who decide they want to change their life, they want to level up in some way, very often you'll see them by themselves. And just a little sidebar, A lot of people say, the level up, sometimes it's lonely. Absolutely. Whether you call it the level up, whether you call it personal development, whether you call it bettering yourself, anytime you want to make a change in your life, oftentimes you have to be alone for a season. When I started this channel, it suddenly got very lonely because I was focusing on this new thing. And a lot of people don't really understand, unless you're on YouTube, unless you're on social media, or you have a social media presence, a lot of people really don't understand what's involved with starting a YouTube channel or going into motivation or encouragement or, any kind of women's empowerment or, talking about jealousy and envy and haters trying to protect women from those things. A lot of the people in my circle, they really don't understand those things. So it got very lonely, but in that loneliness, and I'm not lonely, I'm alone during certain times, but I'm not lonely. There's a difference. I'll get into that in a different video. But the point I'm making, when you level up, and if you want to protect yourself from jealous, envious people who might seek to distract and destroy your level up, it's okay to be alone for a season. And in that alone time, you will often see exponential growth. You will see your life change in ways that it couldn't have changed if you were not moving in silence. If you were constantly inviting all these different people into your idea, process, into your brainstorming sessions. When you have a lot of people, different noises, and this is one of the issues that I have with people announcing things so much, especially on social media. You leave yourself open and vulnerable for people to distract you and stop you from doing the thing you want to do, especially if you are not yet a strong-minded woman who's able to hear the negativity, see the negative things that people say, and still press on anyway. A lot of women think they're a lot more strong-minded than what they are, but as soon as somebody says something negative about what they're doing, they crash out. They just completely stop whatever it is they're doing because they don't want people to be talking about them. Let me tell you something. Anytime you level up in life, you're going to have people talking about you. If nobody's talking about you, that means you're not doing anything that matters in life. That means that you're not having any kind of growth in your life. I'd rather grow and be blessed financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, all other ways, opposed to doing nothing so that the haters can be okay with me. Let jealous people talk. Let haters talk. Let them envy you. If that's what they want to do, let them do it. You don't have to do anything to provoke people to jealousy and envy. You could simply be leveling up and they will hate you for it. There are some people who want to see you down bad, and that is the reason why you need to move in silence. So the number four thing you need to do in order to really move in silence is to retreat, enjoy that moment of being alone so that you can process your thoughts and actually make moves and not just talk about it. And then the number 5 way that you can really and truly move in silence is to have people around you who know what you're doing, but they don't know you personally. I know that might sound different, but this really works. When you get outside of your circle of people who are familiar with you and you put yourself into circles of people who might be acquainted with you, but they don't really know you personally, that gives you a clean slate. And I know that might sound like the opposite of moving in silence, but hear me out. When you're around people who don't know you personally, you have the opportunity to create the image of yourself that you want them to see, opposed to being around Mima and them, cousin, auntie and them, who's known you since a baby. Oh, let me sip my tea. Instead of auntie, cousin, and Mima and them, who's known you since you were a baby or known you since you were a little kid, they seen you growing up. When you suddenly try to present this more confident, leveled up, maybe an authoritative type of way of being to people who are too familiar with you, oftentimes they're not going to take you seriously. It's much like being a worker who used to be an average worker and now you're the manager, now you're the supervisor, now you're the CEO, but you started in the same position as those other people. When they see that you're leveling up, not all the time, but some people, a specific type of people, jealous, envious people, when they see that you were once in the same position as them and now you've leveled up, oftentimes the respect is not there. But when you start with a clean slate, such as people who don't really know you that well, such as people who might be familiar with you but not on a personal level, that gives you more opportunity to grow and to level up. And it also protects you from jealous, envious haters. Because when you're dealing with new people, that's the only version of you they know. The only version of you they know is that confident, leveled up, woman who is a little bit ambitious but feminine, the woman that actually has her life together and knows what she wants. You cannot operate that way oftentimes around people who are too familiar with you. The respect factor is not going to be there the way you want it to be. They might look at your business like, oh, your little business, your little side hustle, oh, your little thing, what you doing, your little. See, family and people who know you really well, they are very good at dumbing down your successes and your accomplishments. Jealous, envious people are very good. They do very well at dumbing down your accomplishments. But you don't really get that with people that you don't know that well. When you present this confident, feminine image to people, and that's all they know about you, they know the new version of you, they know the woman you're becoming, the respect factor is there a little bit more than it would be with people who are really familiar with you. So the number 5 way you want to move in silence is to surround yourself with people who are on your same vibe. They don't really know you that well, but they appreciate and admire the woman you're becoming. When you're around a circle of influence that's on the same page as you can thrive better. When you curate a community or people, or you have a couple friends, a couple associates who, you're getting to know, you're moving in the same circles, you both might be starting a business in the same industry, you might be a hairstylist and you meet another hairstylist from out of town, now you're moving in silence to the haters, to the people that are around you who are trying to distract you. But you're also around people who are doing the same thing as you, and they themselves are also moving in silence. It's all about curating your circle and having the right people around you at the right time. See, if you're moving in silence because you're trying to level up, you want to be networking, you want to be around the right kind of people, but it doesn't benefit you to be around your hating cousin, your jealous auntie, or your jealous friend from high school who doesn't know how to handle your success when you're trying to do things in life. You want to be around people who are thinking the same way as you in this season. So moving in silence is something that you can do as a woman to protect yourself from your haters and stave off their distractions as you level up. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.